Feeling good, feeling great, feeling great, feeling good. How are you? Welcome into Timeline T. I am your host, The Sam D, aka San Duzume Jr. Feels good to do that. It's been a minute. Been putting up a lot of clips. Thank you to those who have been supporting throughout all the NFL preview streams and then the clips that followed. A lot of interaction, more growth on the channel, so always appreciative of that. So yeah, you see the docket, you saw the title. The Jets are looking for a quarterback after Aaron Rodgers falls down and goes boom. Not one, not two, but 3 snaps into his New York Jet career. Can't make this shit up. So we're hearing a lot of names. We'll get into some of those. We have some names that I haven't heard. We'll talk about some of those as well. But man, it is just a interesting thing to kind of navigate all the hot takes that have been going on. But yeah, your week 1 NFL overreaction takes, I want to hear them. It's a safe space. I have some. You see there's 4th on the docket because we got to get through all this Aaron Rodgers stuff. We got to get through the Jets and the Bills from last night, the craziness of the game. Josh Allen specifically. We gonna go there. And then Jim Trotter, if you're not up to speed, he's airing out not only Jerry Jones, but your man's up in Buffalo. Love to see it. Call them out. We got them quoted. We got witnesses that said that they heard what the Buffalo Bills owner said. So Jim Trotter, who didn't sign that NDA, this is why he didn't sign that NDA. Because he had the tea, he had the witnesses, he had them in the tuck, and away we go. Oh man. But we are here, NFL Week 1 overreactions. I want to hear them. We're going to get through the Aaron Rodgers stuff. We're going to get through the Jets and Bills, the craziness of last night. We're going to get into the Jim Trotter, the lawsuit against the Shield, airing out Jerry Jones, airing out the owner of the Buffalo Bills, but mainly those hot takes, those NFL Week 1 overreaction hot takes. I want to hear them. So thank you for those pulling up. Man, Scrub Zero, I see you in the chat earlier. Was good, my dude. Let's see. Let's get that straightened out. There we go. Boom. Giants going 0-17. Now, is that your hot take? I know you're a Giants fan. Like, you was here when we was talking about it. We was previewing it. Again, you don't have a number 1 wide receiver. You just don't have a number 1 wide receiver. Daniel Jones, $160 million, although a lot of it is funny money. The number is still the number. Yikes. Definitely scary hours after that MetLife debacle. What a wild weekend in MetLife. The Giants go out there and get smoked. 40 zip. Give up a 40 piece at the crib. And then it looked like the Jets were also going to get smacked, especially after Aaron, who thinks that Bluetooth headphones are the devil, went out there, fell down and went boom, 3 to 4 snaps into his Jet career. So it looked like it was going to be a lost weekend at MetLife. But thanks to Josh Allen, the Jets were able to pull one out and be 1-0 in one of the most weirdest games I've ever seen, in one of the wildest games I've seen in a very long time. So tap in with that. Obori's in the house. I'm glad it seems like he got the notifications this time, so I appreciate you being able to pull up. Let's see. Scrub Zero, but seriously, the Giants aren't any better in the division now than they were last season. Let's see. Again, they had the easiest schedule in the league last year. They do not have that this year. I think all those chickens are coming home to roost, bro. I just think the Giants the talent hasn't improved to the level of where they could take another step building off the momentum of last year. And Dayball, I mean, let me know when you're ready to talk about it. Like, maybe Josh Allen was covering up some of his mistakes, but Dayball, he had all the people behind him last year because, they were winning and Daniel Jones wasn't the turnover machine that he had been in years prior. But now And anemic offense is just an anemic offense, bro. Like once those 10, what they had the first 10 plays scripted, and it looked like they were doing well. And then, the field goal and then the block and all of that. But after those first 10 scripted plays, they were basura on offense. So are you trying to do like the Bill Walsh thing from back in the day where like the first 15 plays were scripted? But to see, the thing about that is that once Bill Walsh and then George Seifert after him with the West Coast offense, once they had those first 10 to 15 plays scripted out, they then read and reacted and were able to navigate it that way. That is not what the Giants did Sunday night at the crib with the Cowboys. They just went out there and got those 10 plays off. That's all they had. And then they got smacked at the crib. Script Zero, Josh Allen, a turnover machine, dog. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. And we are going to talk about it. 3 of them things last night. Nastiness. I think I saw the stat. Whitehead hit his incentive. He hit his bonus incentive off of 1 game. If he had 3 picks, he reaches a bonus in this contract. Mans did that just off 1 game. Now, does Josh Allen get a cut of that? Do you cut Mans in for 5% of that bonus? I think it was like $250K. $250,000 bonus for getting 3 picks. He takes care of it in week 1 thanks to Josh Allen. Boy, hope you're doing, brother. Let's go Browns. Okay, hey, look, the Browns looked the part. The Browns, that defense, more specifically, that defense was for real. So salute to the Browns. Scrub Zero, MetLife turf is still undefeated. Yeah, that's the saddest thing I've seen in a very long time is, I've worked a few games at MetLife, and that's always been my biggest takeaway. 1, it's a dump, like straight up. Like it's not Washington Commander dump level. Like it's not that, but of these newer stadiums. Like when you go in there and you see the type of structure it is, when you go in there and see, it's like if you just built your basic creative stadium in like Madden. If you built a stadium with the most generic parts, the most bland like outward appearance and inward appearance, that's MetLife. And then, I had this on the Elon app, but I'll say it here. You have 2 franchises that are worth billions of dollars individually come together and partner on a stadium, and they chose the cheapest surface available to protect their $1 million investments, their multi-million-dollar investments, which is the players. They invested $1 billion into building that structure, and they cut corners with the cheapest surface available. And it has claimed multiple ACLs and Achilles. And the players have openly talked about it. It's been brought up in prior CBA type negotiations, but to no avail because the NFLPA is one of the weakest unions, not only in all of sports, but damn near in all of America. When you see what the players continuously have to endure with their current CBA agreements. So unfortunately, that turf will continue to be there because I don't think even this is enough of a catalyst to get, the Johnson empire and the Maras, the Tishes, the Youngs, whoever is the conglomerate that makes up the Giants one. I don't think even this type of an injury to take the energy in 3-4 games in, 3 or 4 snaps in, I don't think even this is enough to get them to pay the bread to go ahead and have it for the 16 games. Both teams get 8 games in that stadium. And they do it for MLS. Soccer don't play that shit. Even before Messi, right? Like a lower tier soccer league in the MLS can get MetLife to put real grass in there. But for the actual tenants of the building, they won't do it. Tells you what they think of the players. Dre is in the house. What's good, Dre? Shedeur Sanders to the Jets, Raiders, Bucks, Rams, Pats. Where is Sanders going? Well, you see your man Mel Kiper, who hasn't been that high on Shedeur, finally moved him up to 3rd in his QB rankings. So, we got Caleb Williams, we got Derek May, and now we got Shedeur Sanders. I think 2 out of those 3 will flourish at the next level. I'm a little hesitant about May, but I think in regards to Caleb, I mean, Caleb is still, he's still that dude. Like, Shador could go out here and throw for 50 TDs and all types of shit. Colorado could win the Natty. I'm still taking Caleb Williams. So you let me know who you taking, Dre. Are you gonna go out here and just, because if you take Shador, that means Prime coming too, right? That means Prime coming. If you ready for that, then we could go there. If you're ready for that, let's see. Script Zero, it was a nightmare on Sunday night, but I gotta keep telling myself it's only one game. Look, obviously I think the 2 creams of the crop in that NFC East are the Cowboys and the Eagles. So, I mean, the Giants are not in that class. I don't think we needed to see them get blown out 40-0 to understand that. But if we had any type of reservations, it got proven on Sunday night. They are not in the class of the Cowboys from a talent perspective and maybe even a coaching perspective. So, to me, it is what it is with that. Scrub Zero, shout out to Josh Allen for giving the game away. Big facts, and he's done that a lot. He's a turnover machine. The picks have been coming hot and heavy, and there was a small, brief little 18-month window where he wasn't the turnover machine. Coincided with Stephon Diggs getting there. But I know people are tired of hearing me say Stephon Diggs is the reason why Josh Allen is the way he is, whatever the case may be. But if you just track it, I have the game log. He's thrown 6 picks in his last 3 games. 6 picks in his last 3 starts. And he led the league in picks, and he's just a turnover. All right, whatever, man. And it's not even just the turnovers. It's the decision making with Josh Allen. It's a problematic decision making for a guy that's cover Madden. Is the jinx back? I don't know, but on the guy that's on the cover of Madden, he's perpetually in MVP considerations. He's always there. But unfortunately, mans will always find a way to have a brain fart. Mans just always finds a way to trick something off. While the Bills fans and other NFL media types keep hanging on to that, Allen Mahomes duel from a couple of playoffs ago, I'm looking at the bigger body of the work. Stop talking to me about one game in Arrowhead. Talk to me about all the picks and the fumbles before and after that. Talk to me about that. Talk to me about missing wide open receivers, because he's laser focused on Gabe Davis. Talk to me about that. Appreciate y'all pulling up. Appreciate the hearts on the way in. Always appreciative of that because the algorithm likes it. Therefore, I like it. Sports Talk with Jose Rodriguez. What's good, bro? Thank you for pulling up. Appreciate it. Browns defense was on fire. Yeah, Myles Garrett got some help. And that was one thing we talked about on the preview of the AFC North and on the little clip that I put out was it's not just Myles Garrett and 10 other dudes. And Denzel Ward looked the part. And there's some help on that D-line specifically to help Myles Garrett. And that was the real big difference against the Bengals. And the Bengals with Joe Burrow. Shaky in the light. He got that bag, but he got that bag. Who looked worse after getting their bag? Who played worse of the QBs that got the bag? Lamar. Got to keep it real. Lamar. Burrow, who you could play the injury card on. Or Herbert. I didn't think Herbert looked that good. The stats will tell you something, but I went back and rewatched that game because I'm red zone all day. But I went back and rewatched that game, and I wasn't that impressed with Jay Herbo. Jose Rodriguez, shame on the NFLPA, bro. They are. I feel so bad for these players, bro. Like the only good thing about the whole Washington thing, well, not the only thing, but the main thing is that stadium's finally going to go away. Snyder had no intentions of getting rid of that stadium unless he got another sweetheart deal which he bought, what I think it's $100 million plot of land out there in Arlington, Virginia. So he was going to try to rebuild another dump. Like it was not going to be state of the art. Like all the renderings that they had, the loose outline renderings were not like modern. It wasn't like the Raiders shit out there in Vegas. It was nothing top tier. Like it was going to be another mid stadium that, you know, taxpayers are going to have to pay for with public funds. Like now that he's out of there, now you'll see some of the things changing. The problem is that there's still a lot of owners, Buffalo being one of them, and we'll get there with Jim Trotter. Like the NFLPA has so little influence over how things go. Like I wouldn't be surprised within the next 5 to 10 years that we're at 20 games in the regular season. I wouldn't be surprised. Like they're already at 17. There's already rumors that they're going to go to 18. Like there's going to be a time where there's going to be no preseason and just going to be 20 games straight up. 20 games straight up, bro. Let's see. Scrub Zero, the Cowboys straight up played. However you want to term it, the boys were faster than the Giants in all phases. I mean, they're just better, bro. To me, they're just better. Josh Allen makes a lot of bad decisions through the course of the game on a weekly basis. Yeah, that's his Achilles heel. That's his Achilles heel. The fact of, you know, great arm, big body, hard to bring down, but it's what's in between the ears is always going to be the issue with Josh Allen. Like some of the runs he made. Like Mans was diving for a first down when he was like 5 yards away from it. And he's taking big hits to do so. Like you get concussed and you get on that Tua wave, it's a wrap. Like you're it. And this isn't no young QB anymore. This is what, year 5? Like, so the whole thing of protect yourself, and, you know, we saw the quote with Trevor Lawrence where he had to speak to Anthony AR5, Anthony Richardson from the Colts after the game. And he was like, yo, dude, you need to protect yourself. Don't take too many hits. Trevor Lawrence is telling a dude who just played his first professional NFL game. And Josh Allen is out here 5 years in, always in MVP talks, cover of Madden, and he's still out here taking unnecessary hits. But never forget, Arthur Blank, Ron Rivera, and others were out here saying Lamar's playing style is too dangerous. But if that would have been Josh Allen on a franchise tag available for trade, we know how that would have went. Magic Man in the house. I want hot takes. And what do you know? Magic Man pulls up. Let's see. Magic Man Burrow doesn't get a pass, but give him some sort of type of break since he just came back from injury. Yeah, no, I mentioned that. And I think, you know, there is something to that, but there's also a penchant for Joe Burrow to have slow starts. So they always seem to take about 4 to 5 weeks to start cooking. So it happened last year and it happened the year before that. They were blaming it on, you know, they couldn't figure out the cover 2 zone. You know, I don't know what they're going to blame it on now, because towards the second half of last year, they figured out the cover 2 zone. And he always kills man to man, but it was Cleveland. Cleveland's better. Also, rain was a factor. And Burrow's coming off the injury, et cetera, et cetera. So I don't think it's a huge microcosm of the Bengals are now going to be mid. I think it's just that was the perfect scenario. A better Cleveland defense. You know, the Cleveland offense doing enough. Nick Chubb being Nick Chubb, and even Nasty Man wasn't great, but he made enough plays. And then you throw in the weather, and then you throw in the injury for Burrow. Like, yeah, that's kind of the recipe that needs to happen for the Browns to pull that off at the crib. Scrub Zero, that guy in Cincinnati is now Mr. Burrow. Now that he got his contract, that boy corporate now. Yeah, I saw that. Magic Man, Burrow misses all of camp and preseason and reps, etc. So give him some sort of break. I mean, look, I don't think anyone's killing Joe Burrow. Like, I don't know who is. Like, I'm not going to kill Joe Burrow. I will say this. Jamar Chase is him. T. Higgins wants a bag, so he needs to get his targets. And then you still got Tyler Boyd. And Joe Mixon, even though he restructured his contract, he's still one of the better running backs in this league. You can't have too many more performances like that. It shouldn't take you, you don't need 4 weeks of preseason to be able to know when Jamar Chase is open. You don't need 4 weeks of preseason to know to throw a better jump ball to T. Higgins and to hit Tyler Boyd in the slot and to check it down to Joe Mixon. I don't think you need 4 weeks to figure that out. Especially if you just got over $200 million fully guaranteed. Magic Man, Allen and Mahomes doesn't get passes. Mahomes gets passes. Mahomes definitely gets passes. I mean, low key, like as much as people were killing Kadarius Toney on Thursday night, and deservedly so, some of those passes weren't on target. A couple of those passes were behind, like not just the ones to Toney. Mahomes had a couple of receivers that he threw behind. And nobody's saying anything because we all focus on Kadarius Toney. But Mahomes was not, yes, he made some other great throws that made us remind ourselves, yeah, he's him. But there were some other throws that were dudes that were open, or at least open enough, and the throw was not great. So I don't co-sign that because Mahomes does get a pass. When's the last time you heard them say Mahomes had a bad passing game? Passing game. He's good. He ain't that good. He ain't 100%. Magic Man, Dak was a game manager for the Cowboys. That's kind of the role that he plays. I do like the fact that he ran a little bit. And that's something that I talked on the NFC East preview stream with Corey Parsons, fantasy exec. So I like the fact that he did run a little bit. Let's see. Could have been a QB we would have won. Well, I don't know about that. Magic Man, Lamar, and Allen are the same age, and both of year 5, so no excuses for both of them. Yeah, Lamar did not look good either. I don't play favorites. Lamar did not look good. That's why I asked the question. Of the QBs that got the bag, Burrow, Lamar, Jay Herbo, and even Jalen Hurts, but he probably looked the best, so I'll take him out the mix. Burrow, Lamar, Jay Herbo. They all recently got the bag within the last couple of months. Who looked the worst week 1? Scrub Zero. All the QBs got new money, and only Lamar and the Ravens were able to grab the dub. Burrow always starts slow. Sugar couldn't come up big when they needed him, and Daniel Jones got bullied. Yeah, see, I don't even count that Daniel Jones in the big money conversation because his money is nowhere near what those other guys' money is. Like, his money is not fully guaranteed. Well, not fully guaranteed. None of them, only Nasty Man. But in terms of the guaranteed money, is nowhere near in the same ballpark as those other three. I don't put Daniel Jones in that conversation. Jose Rodriguez, hell no to 20 games. Hey, yo, bro, with that NFLPA, trust. You know those owners are salivating. They're salivating at the chance. Yeah, Magic Man had Lamar in fantasy. Rough week for that. At least you're not me, though, and had J.K. Dobbins. Let's see. Boy, Nasty Man. Hey, look, man, to call it what it is. Nasty Man. Nasty Man. Ain't no massage table safe in Cleveland. Ain't none. Untame in the house. What's good, man? It's been a while. What's good, man? Glad you could pull up. Okay. I see all y'all chats. I'm just trying to make sure I pull up the ones that are like flowing with the convo, and then we'll tap in. I just want to make sure I hear from y'all. See where y'all are at. Derpy's in the house. Was good, Derpy. Magic Mahomes has a big fan base. I will hope so. He's the most popular player in the league. So anything he does will get excused. Sure. But I'm telling you, like I got that NFL Plus app shit. Like I'm paying for that. And you know, you get the all 22 and all that type of shit. So I'm like really going hardcore into that this season. And yeah, some of those throws, watching back, like live, I didn't really notice it, but on the wire, I'm like, oh, that was behind. Oh, that was too high. Oh, that was in the dirt. I'm like, ooh, this wasn't the sharpest Mahomes game either. So, I mean, Kadarius still was on some silly shit, but Derpy, Aaron was not safe being a Jet. Yeah, unfortunately, like, and let's go ahead and tap in. I appreciate y'all in the chat, heavy. But let's go ahead and tap in. Aaron. Would that work today? No, that's not going to work today. Okay. All right. I got a little thing here for the little button to pop up. But Aaron Rodgers, right? So clearly, we can go ahead and jump to the screen. Will that at least work? Let's see. That at least works. Okay. So Aaron Rodgers, obviously out of here, torn Achilles. But the main thing is this goddamn turf that is in MetLife. Darius Slay. It's obvious to see a lot of guys have season-ending injuries there. This is not a thing that is unknown around the league. And just being on that field, I can tell you, it's janky. It's a janky field. You would never know that you're in a, billion-dollar stadium when you're walking the grounds of MetLife. You would never know it. Absolutely not. You would never know it. It is those little black pellets, those black rubber pellet shits, like that stuff's been proven to give people cancer. Like it was a whole epidemic with that, with, being running rampant with high school fields and even smaller level athletic sports that have those fields, that have those pellets on those fields. And the way, how they're able to use that same type of surface on an NFL stadium is beyond me. And it's because these two franchises are cheap. They cut corners and they built a stadium that was problematic. And Aaron Rodgers is just the latest to suffer a season-ending injury there. It's either an ACL or an Achilles when you go to MetLife. Players know it. Trainers know it. It has a reputation around the league. And, the play was the play, right? Like, obviously, it was a breakdown on the offensive line, et cetera, et cetera. I'm not going to go into killing, who was it, Dwayne Brown? I think it was, Dwayne Brown. I'm not here to kill Dwayne Brown about it, but ultimately, Aaron Rodgers got caught out there. Leonard Floyd took care of business, sacked him, and then sacking him, tore that Achilles. And this man, Aaron Rodgers, who sat there in the darkness for 4 days, he did his own solo darkness retreat for 4 days in darkness, literal darkness, pitch black, walking in the dark to try to use the bathroom, to try to eat, to try to do anything for 4 days straight, just to navigate if he wanted to come back and play football again. He did that. He emerged from the darkness and decided, I want to play, but I just don't want to play in Green Bay. And Green Bay was thankful and was tired of the circus that constantly surrounds this new age Aaron Rodgers. This isn't the dude from Discount Double Check State Farm. This is a new version of Aaron Rodgers. One that talks about ayahuasca. One that goes on McAfee and airs out organizational laundry. This is a guy that openly talks about things that he feels he's lived and has seen, including UFOs, including ducking vaccine questions by saying he's immunized. and then brings all of that to the Jets, who have been a QB away for all of our lives. And then they get forced to bring in Hard Knocks because, of course, you now have Aaron Rodgers. We need to see all of that. And we get all the footage, him talking about UFOs with his mans in them, him trying to give a conspiracy theory on Bluetooth headphones are the devil. But then he started throwing the rock. Then he started making connections with Garrett Wilson. And we started to believe, like, holy shit, Garrett Wilson has a top tier QB. Breece Hall's on the way back. They go get Dalvin Cook. The defense is as advertised. The Jets started to look the part. He gets introduced at MetLife in the preseason. They go crazy. They give him a standing ovation. The odds for the Jets winning the Super Bowl were the lowest in my lifetime. The Jets were legitimately a Super Bowl contender. And the man goes out there after walking around, running out with the American flag on 9/11 weekend, after allegedly asking DeShone Kizer if he actually believes 9/11 happened. And within 4 plays, his Achilles is done, and Zach Wilson is now QB1. You can't make that up. There's no script for that. You can't make that up. There's no microcosm of the Jets jetting than that. They had Brett Favre for a hot little 9-game stretch where he had them in first place. He got hurt. They had Vinny Testaverde, and they looked like Super Bowl contenders. And he went out there and ruptured his Achilles. They passed on Dan Marino. This is who the Jets are. Bruh. Can't make this shit up, man. Obviously, I think Rodgers comes back next year because there's some financial incentive to do so. He had some money that was guaranteed to him, but to acquiesce this deal, he, reworked the contract. So the money is light this year, but it's heavy next year. So I think he comes back just to collect that bag. I don't think he wants to go out looking like this, looking like Larry Holmes, flabby and sick. I don't think he wants to go out looking like this. But ultimately, the Jets are now with a Super Bowl contending roster, but with Zach Wilson. So now that leads everyone to assume, well, there's got to be a new QB on the way to New York. The problem is when you start looking at the names that are available, you tell me which one of these names you actually think could step in and do the job. Some of these names are just here just for shock value. Colin Kaepernick, look, I support Cap, did the kneeling and all that shit, but ain't nobody signing Kaepernick, bruh. Cam Newton, ain't nobody signing no damn Cam Newton, bruh. Carson Wentz, nope. Josh Rosen, nope. Flacco, he's familiar with the Jets. He's been there. Matt Ryan's in the booth. Chase Daniels, like, why would you pick that? BDN, Nick Foles, I don't know. I wouldn't do it. Kellen Mond, come on, son. Like, look at the names that are available. So these are the ones that are free agents. These are not trade targets. These are ones that are actually available. This is a horrific group of free agent quarterbacks. So that's why I think we need to focus on who potentially could they trade for that can actually come in, pick up the system, and away we go. And there's been a lot of names put out there. Teddy Bridgewater, Heineke, Let's see. I've seen people say, yo, go holler at the Cowboys about Cooper Rush. Not even Trey Lance, Cooper Rush. But I think I heard two names today in all this stuff of just trying to navigate what I think is real, what I think is legit and whatnot. There's two names today that I heard that I think can actually make sense for the New York Jets. They're going to have to give up some draft capital, though. Jacoby Brissett, I think, can come into this offense and do some things. Now, Jacoby Brissett is not top tier. I'm almost willing to say he's not even average. But he's better than Zach Wilson. Jacoby Brissett played well at times with the Browns last year before Nasty Man came back. I think Jacoby Brissett could be a guy that can come in, pick up the playbook. He's done it multiple times. He's a guy that can come in, pick up the playbook, and make some plays. See, the problem with Zach Wilson is you can't trust him to do anything. You can't trust him to be a game manager, and you damn sure can't trust him to be a franchise QB. You can only trust him to hand the ball off. Jacoby Brissett, you can trust him to get Garrett Wilson his 10, 11 targets a game. Allen Lazard can actually do something if Jacoby Brissett is the QB. Like, I think they need to go out there and get a guy that's established, a guy that is coming into tough scenarios and has flourished. Now, while Jacoby Brissett doesn't look like a franchise QB because he's not, I think what he is a guy that could come in and be a stopgap. You need someone for 16 more starts, maybe 15 if you make a deal for him. You probably can't start him week 2. So you want him for week 3, week 4, somewhere in that range. You bring in Jacoby Brissett to start for 13, 14 games. Because you cannot be taken seriously with Zach Wilson taking this thing over the rest of the way. Now, the Jets are going to say all the right things and say that we have faith in Zach, etc. Right, that's why you went out there and got Aaron Rodgers. And that's why you were out there flirting with Derek Carr as well before Aaron Rodgers finally said, yeah, I'm pulling up. You were willing to take Derek Carr, okay? So they know in that building they can't go far with Zach Wilson. They need to go out there and get a guy that is established. So Jacoby Brissett is a name that I really like. Another name that I actually really like, Heineke. I think you go out there, you get Heineke. He's a little bit more dynamic. He's a little bit more erratic. But I think he's another guy that is clearly better than Zach Wilson. And I think he could make some plays and get it done. Again, get it done enough. Where can I get a game manager? Where can I get a game manager that can also make a couple of splash plays if I need it? And I think Jacoby has done that. And I think Heineke, albeit a smaller sample size, has done that as well. If I'm the Jets, that's where I'm looking at. Guys that are already on rosters, guys that are already established backups and have flashed at times as starters, that's what I want. I don't want no damn Colt McCoy, bro. I don't want no damn Colt McCoy, Brent Hundley. Nah, I'm good, man. Matt Barkley. Like, who are these names? Who are these names? No. Even if Kaepernick came back, nah, bruh. Cam Newton, nah, bruh. Wentz, hell nah, bruh. Like, there's just none of these names. I need someone who's actually on a roster right now to come save the Jets season. Not someone who's holding a clipboard. Not someone who's playing the crib, coaching high school football. No. So I think out of all the scenarios that are out there was talk of Andy Dalton. I heard Andy Dalton today. There's a whole bunch of just dudes that are out there. Like, I wouldn't do it. There's Jameis talk, 30 for 30. Jameis, I wouldn't do it. But like, I think in Brissett and Heineke, again, you're not going to make front page news, but you don't have to. With that defense, and we saw what Garrett Wilson did last night on a horribly thrown ball. He played two positions on that play. That Garrett Wilson touchdown, he played two positions. He was DB first. He was a DB first, and then turned back into a receiver and caught the damn ball off a ricochet. Go get that man, somebody competent, to throw him the ball 12 times a game. The roster is built. The O-line could be better, sure. Breece Hall looked like old Breece Hall. 10 months from surgery. He almost housed it a couple of times. He's dynamic. The pieces are there. The window is now. Will the Jets do what they need to do? Will Joe Douglas sell out? Will he do like the Rams did and say, fuck them picks? That's a real thing that needs to happen. Will Joe Douglas go out there and say, the hell with them picks? Because now with this Rodgers deal, they got that first round pick. The whole the stipulation of, if Rodgers plays 65% of the snaps, it goes to a second round pick. Well, we know that ain't gonna happen. You're gonna have your first round pick. That second round pick is going to Green Bay. So you have a first rounder to leverage. Now, hopefully for your sake, it's a low first round pick, but it's still a first. Commanders don't want an extra first. New ownership. Potentially, despite what I saw on Sunday, maybe a new coaching staff next year, or at least a new head coach next year. I'm just saying. Y'all let me know. Are y'all looking at this list here, or the names that I mentioned that are already on rosters, or is there somebody else that y'all think could be competent enough to pull up and get the Jets right? Because it's got to be a certain type of QB. You need a QB that can come in and know, I ain't the star here, and you don't need to be the star here. Like if Baker Mayfield somehow were available, Baker's a guy that will come in and think he can be a star here. You don't need that type of QB if you're the Jets. You need the guy that could come in and realize, oh, this shit is ready to go. This shit's on autopilot. If I just do my job, it's on autopilot. The dubs are racking up. The W's are going to rack up if I come in here and game manage the hell out of this. Who do y'all got? Let's hit the comments. Let's see. Wow, y'all going crazy in the chat. Love it. Let's see. Scrub Zero, the Jets seem to have no good luck with old QBs, with plus QBs. Yeah. I mean, look, Favre, Testaverde. I mean, some people would throw in Chad Pennington. I wouldn't. Let me see. Trying to scroll through. I still don't get the darkness retreat. I don't think it's not for us to get. It's not for us to get. It is definitely not for us to get. It is not. Yeah. He's just one of those dudes. Yeah. Like you ever met someone that just thinks they're the smartest person in the room, in every room that they're in? Like he's that dude. Like he thinks whatever he thinks is that shit. Like whatever I think is like the most deepest thought-provoking thing. Like The fact that allegedly, he asked Deshaun Kaiser if he believes, if 9/11 was a real thing or not, and telling him you should read up on that. As someone that was born and raised here in New York and lived through 9/11, to see that dude run out there with the American flag fronting on 9/11 weekend, I mean, come on, son. Magic Man, Jordan Love. We getting some Jordan Love stuff in the chat. I see it. Jordan Love putting up 31 points was impressive. It was against the Bears. It's against the Bears. The Bears and defense are allergic to each other right now. Scrub Zero, I would think Cam, but we know Cam is blackballed. I don't think Cam is, Cam was blackballed. I don't think he still is, because I don't think Cam can't play no more, man. He can't play no more. That run with the Patriots when he was falling down and fumbling and all that type of shit, he can't play no more. Match Man, bring Joe Flacco to the Jets. Okay, I wouldn't do that, but to each his own. I don't see nothing there. You talk about Aaron Rodgers couldn't avoid the rush and tore his Achilles. The hell you think Joe Flacco's going to do his statue ass? Like, I don't know what you think. Joe Flacco can't avoid no rush. If Aaron Rodgers, who was one of the more sneaky athletic QBs of his generation, if he can't avoid the rush at 40, what you think Joe Flacco going to do? Scrub Zero, I would like to just chance a whiff with Jacoby Brissett. Okay. Heineke in the mix. Okay. I mean, that's kind of the problem here is that if you're trying to get someone, as Scrub Zero said, the options for the Jets to bring in is very short. I mean, because this list here is horrible, right? But even the guys that you would think could be available that are already on rosters, like a Teddy Bridgewater, like a Andy Dalton, like a Heineke or Jacoby Brissett, like I'm mentioning, I don't want to have to give up a first-round pick for no Jacoby Brissett. But if I'm trying to win this year, you might have to. Scrub Zero, I don't think the Jets will get into the playoffs this year with Rodgers. I don't think there's any saving them. Okay. I was thinking the Jets, in my opinion, they were going to make the playoffs. So that's kind of why I'm like, that to me is where you kind of have to put all the pieces. Like, I don't think they'd go out there and bring in Dalvin Cook if they didn't have Aaron Rodgers. Like, I think they firmly believed they were on the cusp of being a contention. Maybe not necessarily we are a Super Bowl contender, like we're up there with the Chiefs, but certainly in like, yo, we in the playoffs. And once you're in the playoffs, anything can happen. Like the fucking Giants went on the road and won a game last year. Like anything can happen. Brock Purdy got to a championship game. Like just get that defense with Aaron Rodgers on that offense into the playoffs and let me see what can happen. They're built to go in the Arrowhead. That roster was built to go into Arrowhead. That roster's built to go into Buffalo. Like the teams that we think are going to be them, they're built to go into Cincinnati, Baltimore, maybe Cleveland, whatever. Like that squad, it was built to be able to, if not host a game, certainly go on the road and win a game in the playoffs. Now, unless they make a big improvement at quarterback, not so much. Scrub Zero, would Matt Stafford be a guy worth picking up? I'm not big on him, but it's someone who hasn't been mentioned. The only reason why I didn't mention him is I don't see the Rams giving up. Not yet. Like, if this injury would have happened closer to the trade deadline, maybe you could convince them. And if they're like clearly not a good team and like losing and shit, maybe you could convince them. But right now, Matt Stafford looks good. Like, he looks to be healthy. I don't know if one pick is getting that done. And I don't know if I'm the Rams, I'm ready to just give up, Matt Stafford. Like, I got Cooper Kupp coming back in now 3 weeks. My running game looks improved. I still got Aaron Donald making Geno Smith say, "Oh my God." So I want to roll the dice with that one more again. So if I'm the Rams, I don't do it. So that's why I didn't mention it. But the only thing the Jets can really leverage is that first round pick. And I don't know if I'm the Rams, I'm ready to do that. Here's a sneaky name. Jose Rodriguez. Kyler? Oof, that's too much money to bring in, though. It's too much money. Too much money. I like the thought process, and I think in the offseason, Kyler will probably be available, especially if they tank the right way and they're in line to get, whether it's Shador or or the big two, Caleb and Derek May. Like, if the Cardinals are in any position to get any of those three, I think Kyler's available, but I don't think they're going to do that in season. Matchman, I would pick up Geno Smith. Yeah, that's not going to happen. What about Taylor Huntley? Yeah. Again, this is Magic Man trolling. These saying that you can't hire from the Brock Purdy hype. I mean, look, if I could give a quarterback Ayuk, Debo, McCaffrey, Kittle with a good old line and a really good play caller, I would be hyping up Brock Purdy too. But the problem is that I know that he's a product of those weapons, and his job is to game manage. He's playing the part well. He's playing well, but he's playing well because he's got Ayuk, who can go off, Debo, who's an ultimate weapon, McCaffrey, who's an ultimate weapon, and then Kittle, who, when healthy, is top 3 at his position in the league, if not higher. So, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with that. All right, Josh Allen. Let's go ahead and get into this Josh Allen thing. So the Jets-Bills game was a crazy game, crazy ending, a lot of swings. But to me, the biggest issue was Josh Allen. And let's take a look at the last few games. And this is regular season, correct? Regular season. There you go. Oh, let me move that over for you. Y'all can't see that. And now y'all should be able to. Okay. Regular season, right? Let's take a look at certain numbers for your man's Josh Allen. So, 3 picks last night. Let's go to the end of last year. 1 pick, 2 pick. Let's keep going. 1 pick, 2 pick, 2 pick, 2 pick. Okay. 1 pick, 1 pick. 2 pick. 3 picks, 1 pick, 1 pick, 2 picks, 2 picks, 2 picks, 1 pick, 1 pick, 1 pick, 1 pick, 1 pick, 1 pick, 2 pick, 2 pick, 1 pick. It's a lot of interceptions, okay? That's essentially what I'm trying to get at. It's a lot of interceptions for your man's Josh Allen. And someone that's been put on a pedestal, someone that's been put on the cover of video games, someone that's been alleged to be an MVP candidate for at least the last 2 to 3 years. This is a lot of picks. And this is with Stephon Diggs, by the way. Because before Stephon Diggs, he was looking like either a bust or someone who was going to be a perennial underachiever. They go out there and get Stephon Diggs. He gets magically more accurate to the tune of 10 to 11% better completion percentage. And now all of a sudden he's an MVP candidate. And for a small, brief 18-month window, he made less mistakes from the decision-making point of view. Not just necessarily turnovers, but just from a decision-making point of view. Oh, but last season and so far this season, a lot of those old habits have crept back in. A lot of those old habits for your man's Josh Allen, who they kept trying to tell us he was over that, he got better, he worked at it, day ball, etc., etc. Now he's looking to make the same mistakes pre-Stephon Diggs, now with Stephon Diggs. 5 years in, and he's now reverting back to the Josh Allen before Stephon Diggs. How will that impact the Bills going forward? Will this be a scenario where Josh Allen needs to be called to task? Because in the national media, we're not getting a lot of that. It's a lot of, it's a bad game, or, he struggled a bit. Like, no. This isn't just a struggle. Let's go ahead and just pull up his overview stats and look at these numbers. 15 picks in 2021, 14 picks last year. Okay? You want to talk about passer rating? Passer rating 107. That's the first year with Stephon Diggs, by the way. And it's been a precipitous drop ever since then. QBR was highest the first year with Stephon Diggs. So there's certain trends here with Josh Allen. Completion percentage, I throw that out because there's so many check downs and so on and so forth that I don't get caught up in that. But in regards to, just look at the jump, 59% to 69%, 10% jump in completion percentage, and that's because of Stephon Diggs. This year here, that second year, this was the year he was falling down and fumbling the ball forward. Untouched. This was the year of him throwing the ball in the end zone and there was nobody there. He did a play action fake and threw the ball to a spot in the end zone and nobody was there. He was missing wide open receivers. He was careless with the rock. Then he got Stephon Diggs, cleaned up a lot of that, put in the work in the offseason, and away we go. Pro Bowler. Now we're talking MVP considerations. Now we're talking big contracts. Mahomes gets paid. He gets paid right after Mahomes. Mahomes had just come off a regular season MVP, a Super Bowl, and a Super Bowl MVP and got his bag. Josh Allen had one really good year directly attributed to the, to the acquiring, to the acquisition of Stephon Diggs, and then he went and got a bag. He didn't have to wait like Lamar, like Justin Herbert, like Joe Burrow. He was magically just handed a bag. This is where the issue lies, the turnovers. And then when you get into the fumbles and things of that nature, because him as a running threat is still a thing, right? Him as a running threat is still a thing. But then when you add in the decision-making to the process, 13 fumbles last year. 13 fumbles last year. 8 the year before that. 9 the first year with Stephon Diggs. 14 that second year. So last year, 13 fumbles, the guy who is thought to be up there with the MVPs of this league. He's thought to be second, right behind Mahomes and ahead of Joe Burrow and whoever else you want to put up there as the top tier QBs. He was thought to be one of those. 15 interceptions, 13 fumbles. Somebody's going to have to say the thing out loud. And I'm waiting for somebody with a blue check to do so. Unfortunately, what's going to happen is that people are going to say, well, y'all killed Josh Allen, then he got good. No. He didn't get good. He got help. And people were afraid to stand 10 toes down and die on that hill. Josh Allen got better, sure. But he got really good because they brought in Stephon Diggs. And there's a clear line of difference to see that and to recognize that when you're looking at numbers. They were 10-6, and he couldn't even throw 60% completion percentage, and he had 13 fumbles to go along with 9 interceptions. Bring on Diggs, fumbles go down, interceptions stay roughly the same, but the TDs go way up. That is not a coincidence. It is what it is, man. Josh Allen, somebody gonna need to say it, that is out here on these platforms trying to act like they got, all the big bread coming to them. I need somebody on one of these hot take shows to go ahead and just say it. But they afraid of that Bills Mafia. They afraid of it. I've been saying the same thing consistently. This dude got better because of Stephon Diggs. And whether you want to blame it on the Madden curse, whether you want to blame it on no day ball, whether you want to blame it on, him and Diggs allegedly not getting along, whatever you want to call it, he ain't him. You're paying him to be him. He ain't him. McDermott has been a little sus as a coach. I've seen more slander for McDermott than I have for Josh Allen. And to me, that's a problem because when he plays well, they're quick to prop him up and say he's right up there with Mahomes. But when he's mid, they find all these other reasons as to why he's not playing well. Problematic as hell, if you ask me. I'll hit the chat. Scrub Zero, the real Josh Allen plays in Jacksonville. That's certainly the better one does. The better Josh Allen, the only Josh Allen we acknowledge does play in Jacksonville. Magic Man, somebody told me what team does Josh Allen play for, and I said the Jaguars. I mean, that's the type of time we're on. Script Zero, maybe it's time to admit Josh Allen only had one elite season, but he's not an elite QB overall. Well, that's the thing. They keep saying he is. They keep saying he is. I've never been on that train. I've never looked at his play and said, that's elite. I've looked at it as this dude just can make plays. He could just make plays. There's a difference between this guy's skill set is elite versus this guy just finds a way to make plays. Josh Allen, if you surround him with talent, he's a guy that can make plays. He's not a game manager per se, but he's a guy that, to me, I would not entrust if I didn't have weapons around. Because we've seen what it looks like when he doesn't have weapons, and it is a shit show. Kobe fan in the house, I see you. Magic Man thinks Josh Allen is elite. Okay, he's cleaning it up. He's doing his trolling thing. He's talking about Jacksonville. Josh Allen is good to great, but he ain't on Mahomes or Burrow's level. Well, I think that's the problem. They keep trying to make him, they keep trying to convince us that he is. And yeah, to your point, he's not. Went off in the postseason. Yeah, I'm tired of hearing about that postseason. I'm tired of hearing about that postseason. Yeah, he went off. And how far did he get? Like that's my thing about it. Like, yeah, he went off. How far did he get? He still lost. So yes, he had that really hot postseason, set the world on fire. And then what happened? He was at the crib like all of us on Super Bowl Sunday. All right. I would like to slide into the story that I'm really interested in talking about. Let me make sure I got my windows set up here. Oh yeah, by the way, just so I can see it. NFL quarterbacks with the most turnovers since 2018. There's your boy. 84. Lest you think I'm bullshitting or, whatever. NFL quarterbacks with the most turnovers since 2018. I broke down the fumbles and the interceptions, but this is all the way back to his rookie year. 84. And by the way, again, we keep talking about quarterbacks that look like Lamar Jackson and play like Lamar Jackson, and how Arthur Blank and Ron Rivera was saying that style of play is not conducive towards winning. So therefore, he's not warranted to getting a bag. Well, explain to me how Josh Allen has the most turnovers since 2018 and Buffalo easily gave him a bag 3 years in. Just if anyone can explain that to me with some actual football like reasons, I would greatly appreciate it. And let's see. All right, so there is a story. Jim Trotter has filed a complaint against the NFL. And the main thing about this is there's some notes here. There's some quotes, not notes, quotes attributed to two NFL owners. One is Jerry Jones. The other is Terry Pegula. That's how I'm going to pronounce it. Let's go ahead and tap in. So you see here, Pro Football Talk. This is the complaint. And let's see, will this mess it up? No. Okay, good. So Terry Pegula, owner of the Buffalo Bills, stated in reference to player protest against racial injustice that, quote, if the black players don't like it here, they should go back to Africa and see how bad it is. I will repeat this for those in the back. Terry Pegula, owner of the Buffalo Bills, stated in reference to player protest against racial injustice that, quote, if the black players don't like it here, they should go back to Africa and see how bad it is, end quote. Jim Trotter has said that he was not the only one who heard Pegula make this remark, that he has witnesses willing to step up and claim that this indeed did happen and Pegula indeed did say this. So again, we talk about this league that is roughly 70% black and an ownership base that they love to throw out there that, oh, we got Magic Johnson now. He's not the majority owner. There's still no black owners in this league. We got your man's Khan down there in Jacksonville. That's the closest we've gotten. Still waiting on Hove to get a team. Hove keep doing those Rock Nation Super Bowls, and that was supposed to be a thing of him finding a way to get a team. And it's been how many Super Bowl halftimes and that man still don't got no team? That's y'all man's. But wait, it gets worse. Jerry Jones responded to a question posed by Jim Trotter regarding the dearth of black professionals in decision-making positions for NFL teams by stating, and I quote, If blacks feel some kind of way, they should buy their own team and hire who they want. End quote. Now, while that sounds damning, there is a lot of truth in this statement, but it's not the truth you're thinking. I'll say it again for the people in the back. If blacks feel some kind of way, they should buy their own team and hire who they want to hire. Now, let's read in between those lines. What is Jerry Jones telling us? If they want, they should go make their own league and hire who they want. What is Jerry Jones actually saying? To me, and y'all can tell me if you think I'm bugging or reaching or whatever, I think and feel he's saying as though I went out there and bought my own team and I hired who I wanted. And if we look at Jerry Jones's track record, he's hired a lot of white people. And while there was a lot of people caping, a lot of people who look like me caping for Jerry Jones when that photo came out with him out there in Arkansas when he was a teenager, it's a lot of people caping for Jerry, saying that was how many years ago? You don't even know what his mindset was back then. You don't know what his mindset is now. So you mean to tell me the man that was out there on the front lines while the school in Arkansas was being integrated, and he happened to be amongst a group of people that was vehemently opposing the integration of that school, you're telling me he was just there to check the vibes? You're now going to tell me that that guy who was just there to check the vibes, who made his money in oil, bought the Dallas Cowboys, has made himself the biggest star of the Dallas Cowboys, has done very little in terms of diversity and inclusion in the Dallas Cowboys high-ranking executive offices, who has been caught out here with multiple women who are not Mrs. Jerry Jones, allegedly, who has enabled a man that used to work for the team. He allowed that man to work for the team even after he took upskirt pics and vids of not only Dallas Cowgirl cheerleaders, but his own daughter. That's who Jerry Jones is comfortable hiring. A man that will take upskirt pics and vids of cheerleaders and his own daughter. So when I give you all the backstory, when I give you all the proper context, now tell me what you think of Jerry Jones saying this quote and what he means by saying, and I quote again, if blacks feel some kind of way, they should buy their own team and hire who they want to hire. That means he bought a team and he's going to hire whoever the hell he wants to hire, including a man that got caught on a Dallas Cowboys draft day war room stream taking upskirt pics and vids of Jerry Jones's own daughter, allegedly. You can't make this shit up, bro. What is your man's Roger Goodell gonna do with this? Jim Trotter, who I spoke on earlier, he turned down the NDA because he wanted to get all this off and get it done fast. And while it's still current, and while people were still willing to go on the record and corroborate what he's saying. This right here, as much as we still see end racism in the end zone, and it takes all of us in the other end zone, as we keep hearing about social justice initiatives that the NFL and the NFLPA have collaborated on to throw money at, as much as we keep getting lit halftimes because Rock Nation is involved, as much as Brian Flores was actually hired again in the league, although Colin Kaepernick and Eric Reed, let's not forget Eric Reed, Colin Kaepernick and Eric Reed will never play another down in the NFL. But even with all the other positive spin stuff, it still comes back down to this is who has the real power in the NFL. We could talk about Mahomes getting $500 million. We could talk about Nasty Man getting fully guaranteed money. We could talk about, your man Chris Jones being able to end his holdout to move some of the money around to get a bag. We could talk about all of that. But the bottom line here is that Terry Pegula felt empowered enough to say if the black players don't like it here, they should go back to Africa and see how bad it is. Furthermore, Jerry Jones saying if blacks feel some kind of way, they should buy their own team and hire who they want. Now you tell me, is there enough Super Bowl halftimes to undo all of this? Is there enough six-figure checks that could be cut for social justice initiatives to wipe out all of this? I'll hit the chat. Scrub Zero, that's how we getting down. Terry Pegula, say no more. Well, that's kind of what it is here in this NFL, man. Scrub Zero, whose man's not mine? Nah, that's Hove. That's, what I mean? That's the whole, diamonds are forever, right? Capitalist Hove. I like that, Jose. I like that one. Magic Man, I know this is NFL talk, but do you think the NBA is racist? Okay, you need to be a little bit more specific. Are you talking about ownership? Are you talking about what piece of the NBA are you talking about is racist? I have no problem answering the question. I just want to know exactly what part of the NBA you're talking about so I can answer your question fully. El Bori, I honestly don't know what the turnover is in. The mediocre play seemed like Josh Allen had drifted. For sure, he's reverted back to pre-Stephon Diggs, Josh Allen. Magic Man, as a person whose mother is light-skinned, yeah, I don't know what to say other than pay Zach Martin. Got it. Rodriguez, shout out to Jim Trotter. Yeah, see, I think that's the biggest part of this is that Jim Trotter, obviously he took a lot of heat because every Super Bowl he would ask Roger Goodell about diversity, and Roger Goodell would start tap dancing and then bring up Jay-Z's name and think because he made a deal with Jay-Z that means all black people should be, accepting of Roger Goodell because he made a deal with Jay-Z. And I think it worked. It worked, right? Like it got some people of color to kind of fall back. All right, well, Hove's there now. Hove is going to fight for us, not understanding anything about how Jay-Z actually gets down. Jay-Z only cares about who he sees in the mirror. But anyway, ultimately, what it comes down to is that the NFL felt like they did enough like a lot of companies did, especially during that time frame. Social unrest, pandemic, all of that. A lot of companies acted like they cared about people of color, minorities as a whole. It's now 4 years later, 4 years later, we all know 90% of that stuff was all bullshit. Okay? So I think ultimately there's going to come a point in time where the players, the actual employees, are going to have to stand for what they want. If the UPS dudes can strike, like I've been really wanting to get into this. If the UPS dudes could strike and get a bag, they shut down deliveries and they had to cough up the bag to all of them because it was already dudes making bank. Drivers were already getting top pay, but they still walked out for the ones down below, for the dudes in the warehouse. Like they was outside for real, for real. They held it down as a group. If the NFLPA had any gumption, had any balls, had any cojones, they would follow the lead of the goddamn UPS workers. But that's the problem. Every time they do a strike, a lockout, somebody always bends over. And it's always the players in this case. The quarterbacks don't want to stand and unite because they are always taken care of. So they're treated differently. They're on a higher tier. And that NBA, CBA, CJ McCollum did some nasty work in there. I won't get into it now, but like, trust, once we get closer to NBA season, I got a lot of shit to talk about that NBA, CBA. I spent a lot of time looking at that CBA, and much like Hove only wants to look in the mirror, only cares about who he sees in the mirror, with the way that CJ McCollum negotiated that NBA, CBA, he only cares about who he sees in the mirror. Script Zero, there honestly isn't, but too many people are going to ignore this and go on with business as usual. Yeah, that's kind of where we're at. That's kind of where we're at. Unfortunately, is like, you know, it's I try to talk about stories like this so I can do my part. Like I don't have a big platform. I don't have whatever, but this type of stories means a lot to me because I've worked NFL games. I've been in these stadiums. I've heard some things said. Like a lot of shit goes on that never gets to be put on display like this, like in a real lawsuit that's going to be acknowledged and publicized and being given the light it deserves. Like there's a lot of stories of other, Black employees, just, people of color employees that work in sports media. We carry a lot of secrets of nasty shit done behind the scenes, like corporate, high level labor. We carry a lot of that. And a lot of us have to sign NDAs or whatever the case, or you just don't say nothing because you don't want to mess up your bag, whatever. Like there's a lot of that inherent peer pressure in sports media. But Jim Trotter catching heat every Super Bowl year when Raj shows up for his press conference and he says, how come there ain't no black people here? And, they forced him on the way out, said it was budget cuts, whatever the case may be. And Jim Trotter walked away. And when they offered him a bag to sign an NDA, he said, no, I don't want your blood money on the way out. I'm good. And you know why I'm good? Because I'm airing you out. I'm choosing to air y'all out instead of taking the payoff. Thankfully, he was in a position to be able to turn down that bread and say, nah, I'm doing this off the strength. I'm doing this off GP for the culture. I'm airing you out. Pagula, You did say that. You did say black players should go back to Africa. And I got people that also heard it. This ain't no he said, he said. I got people that can confirm, co-sign this anecdote. It happened. And obviously Pagula has put out a statement saying this is a lie, this is falsehoods. Jerry Jones has already come out and said this is false, this is inaccurate, whatever. That's what they're supposed to say. They still say Kaepernick wasn't blackballed. Even though the goddamn Roger Goodell had to admit they were wrong. Although he never said what they were wrong about, he had to admit that they were wrong. Oh, here we go. Sub-Zero. Okay, I'm UPS dude. Hey, salute. Y'all held it down. I respect that. Look, I wasn't always in sports media. I worked in healthcare. I was part of a healthcare union for over a decade, and I was a union rep. I used to help dudes get their money right and all of that. I was a shop steward, so I know what it is. Y'all held it down, and the elimination of unions is really. I mean, I don't want to go too left here, but the eradication of unions is a lot of what's going wrong in this country because there's no middle class. Unions fought to keep a middle class actually be existent. If you track the decline of unions and the decline of the middle class, you'll see a little parallel there that no one likes to talk about. So salute to Scrub Zero out here with that UPS. All of y'all got the bag. Salute. Magic Man, you haven't answered my question. I asked for some specification and you haven't given that. But now you're asking Scrub Zero though. Okay. Scrub Zero, we know that NFL players got no backbone, and so do the owners and the players. So I think here's the issue. I think because the salaries are so split, right? Like the salaries are so skewed towards, quarterbacks are making 50 M's. And yes, we could talk about the devaluing of the running backs, but even the wide receivers are only making half that. Like imagine, let me come off the screen here. Let's go ahead and play a game. Let's look up. I know Justin Jefferson was trying to get a new deal before the season started. That didn't happen. And remember, Mahomes was supposed to get a new deal before the season started, and that didn't happen either. Maybe he was waiting on Burrow. Contract, spot track. Justin Jefferson, come on. Okay, close that. All right, here we go. So if we're looking at Justin Jefferson, this man's getting $4 million this year, right? So let's go ahead and look at the market. Positional spending. Oh, do I need to zoom out? I might need to zoom out. Okay, there we go. Positional spending. Nope, that's not what I want. I thought that's what I wanted. Top salaries by position. Average salaries. All positions. Wide receiver. Update. Okay, so you have Tyreek Hill at 30 million, but always remember, this number is not the real number. This is the adjusted number. This is the adjusted annual average. Tyreek Hill, I'm sure, has some funny money in his contract. Let's take a look. 120 million, only 72 is guaranteed. So he's got 50 million, just under 50 million of funny money, right? So you see it. 4 years, 120. Total guaranteed is 72. Or maybe I can't see that. Let me move down. There you go. Total guaranteed 72. Okay. So this works out. We could do the easy math. 4 years, 120, that's 30 million a year, right? But in actuality, it's not that. Because he's got a lot of bonuses and incentives to hit. Now, he's been playing so crazy, he might be able to hit all of these easy. Okay? Now, his 2024 salary is already guaranteed because he hit the date of 3/19/2023. So he's locked in for that. He could potentially get out this deal. See, this is where you see the opt-out. Look at the money here. $43 million in that last year. There's a lot of money on the back half. 3 years, 73. That's only 24 million a year. So while they're saying 4 years, 120, and that's 30 mil a year, if you look at the potential 3-year deal where the bulk of this money is very team friendly up front, it's about 24 million a year. Then if he makes it that long, which we assume he is, because he said he wants to play out his contract and then he's going to retire, he's got 2 more years. That's where the money is. That's where the money is, because he gets a roster bonus just for being on the team. And then he gets 21 million base salary. So the money gets crazy the last year, 43 million. That's the bulk of that 120 right there. That's a third of that money right there. Or a quarter. Was it a quarter? A third. A third of that money right there. So he has to play 5 years of this new deal to get to the third of that deal. And that's why you can't really believe in these numbers. So he's getting about 20-something million. These NFL quarterbacks, if we believe their numbers, they're getting 50 M's. Calamari's getting 40 plus M's. Burrow at 55. I haven't looked at his contract numbers yet. Let's see. 275 million. I move that. 275 million. And it's 219 of it is fully guaranteed. So that is, if we make it 20, that's 56 million of it, bonuses and incentives. Okay. 56 million. And it looks like the bulk of that is down here. These option bonuses. Because he's already guaranteed 3 years. See, a lot of these structures is the same. He has a potential out after 5 years. So here's where you need to focus on when it comes to, oh, wait a minute. Hold up. Is this guaranteed money? How do they structure this? If he has an out after the 5th year, he would have made $219 million. He's total guaranteed $219 million. So this extra 56 mil, but how is this mathing? This 56 mil is only for year 6 and year 7? Oh, they structured this shit wacky as hell. There's no way he makes it to this. He'll have a new contract by 2028. Hold on. This is intriguing. Because if he has an out after 5 years, that includes, or is that potential out 2028? I don't want to sit here and do all the math, but it looks like one. So this is the last year of the rookie deal. He gets the new money next year. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this last year, so this 56 mil, but that math don't add up either. All right. So essentially, this 5-year bread is guaranteed. So he's got a Deshaun Watson type deal. They just added on an extra year, and that year seems to be incentive based. So, I got to do more reading on this. That's hella interesting. It looks like he got Deshaun Watson money. He got fully guaranteed money until this last year. Then that's where there's some bonus stuff here going on, allegedly. Because if he has a potential out after 2028, and if he takes that out, he would have earned $219 million. That's the same amount as the total guarantee. So that to me means, unless I'm reading it wrong, and I'll do the research and get back to y'all, that reads to me like he got fully guaranteed money for 5 years. And then they added on, but why is it saying 5 years? This is 6 years. So the new money doesn't kick in next year? The new money kicks in 2025? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm not understanding this contract. So the 5-year contract, including a $440 million signing bonus, $219 guaranteed, and an average salary. In 2023, Burrow will earn a base. I'm sorry, I'm reading this up here. Burrow will earn a base salary of $1 million, signing bonus of $40 million, and a roster bonus of $4 million while carrying a cap hit. So this money does count? Script 0, the new money kicks in at 2025. He's in his 4th year as a pro. The 5th year player option, the 5th year option gets tacked on by default. Okay, so then if it kicks in at 25, so then that makes sense with the $25 million base salary. Okay, so then that's weird then. The potential out. So then how is this a 5-year out? It's only 4 years. If the out is 2028 and the new money kicks in at 2025, that's 3 years, not 5. Oh, I gotta do some digging. Hang on. Let me see. Who can I pull up? Who would know? Joe Burrow. Contract breakdown. Let's see. Who's got the real shit? Let's see. Sports Illustrated, a breakdown of Joe Burrow's new contract. Let's see. Oh, Florio had it. All right. Burrow is essentially on a $310 million deal through 2029 with $219.1 million in injury guarantees over the 2025 to 20. Okay, that part makes sense. $219 million over a 4-year window, because that's what we were looking at. So this is the 4-year window, I believe. So then 2025 to 2028. So this is where we're going here for a 4-year window, right? We have a 4-year window. This is where the 219 is coming from. Okay. So he's got the roster bonus, $40 million, fully guaranteed. Training. So we all know it's 2023. So he's got 3 years fully guaranteed, right? So from 2023 to 2025, all that money is guaranteed. Plus the signing bonus of 40 on top of that. Yeah, Florida reports that 3 of the new years are fully guaranteed at signing. Yeah, that's okay. That makes a little bit more sense. Okay. I'm not as crazy as I thought because I was like, wait, this doesn't make any sense. Yeah, it's basically, damn, they just copy and pasted the same shit that they had. Okay. All right. El Bori, I'm back. Had to run to the store. Love your content, bro. Hey, thank you, man. I appreciate that. Thank you for pulling up and tapping in the chat. Go Browns. To help the lady out. Catch you next time. Stay up. Stay blessed. Same to you, bro. Appreciate you pulling up, man. Glad you're a part of the squad here in the chat. Scrub deal. This deal looks like it takes a little while to break down. Yeah, it's his agent was very savvy with this one. Cause the money is there. Who's this deal? Who's the WME? That's a big time agency. Okay. Yeah, I think it's intricate, but the fact that clearly he got the most guaranteed money. Because what did Jay Herbo? Jay Herbo didn't even get 200, right? Jay Herbo didn't get 200. None of them. He's the first one to crack 200 since Nasty Man. Why do I not have Justin Herbert? Okay. Herbert. Oh, damn. I didn't know just Herbert. Oh. Didn't we break that down? 218 million. So he just got 1 mil more. Oh, these contracts are horrible then. He only got 1 mil more? I didn't know Jay Herbo broke 200. So who else? So then Lamar was Jalen Hurts was the first one to break 200. I'm forgetting my history. My bad. Let's see here. So the Jay Herbo deal, there's an out after 2029. But how is that an out? That's all the money. That's literally all the money. He's a free agent after 2029. So the 218. So that Burrow contract ain't that crazy. I was about to give Burrow real props. Now it's structured in a unique way, but I thought the guaranteed money was way more than Herbo. Just these little incremental bumps. The total value is more, but the total guaranteed is not that much more. So it's literally like $1 million more. And not even, because he barely is over 219 million. So it's like 400,000 more. 300,000 to 400,000 more guaranteed money. Mahomes gonna have to do something, man. Mahomes will have to change the market. To stop this little bullshit nickel and diming thing, they're going to have to change up. He's going to have to change this up. Because as soon as he gets his deal, then Trevor Lawrence will get a little bit more than him. And then he's going to be, the 5th or 6th highest paid QB in no time again. He's outside the top 10 now. He's the 11th. Skip 0. Now we didn't get a chance to break down. Oh, okay, bet. Good look on that. Because I was like, wait, these numbers don't mesh right. I know we talked about it briefly, but I don't think we did the breakdown of the bread like this. I guess they mean the 2029 offseason is where they can get out of contract. But that's crazy though, Scrub, because it's like he'll be a free agent that last year. So it's like I get it, but to call it an out doesn't, I guess that's the problem I'm having. Like, you can't call that an out. That's just entering the last year of his deal. Because he'll be a free agent after 2030. And we all know more than likely he's going to have a new deal before he gets to this free agent year anyway. I don't know. Mahomes got to change something. 218 million guaranteed. Burrow gets... Let's go to Mahomes. I keep forgetting what he had. He had under 100, right? Although a lot of people add some of the extra money, and he did a couple of renegotiating stuff. 141. Total guaranteed at signing was 63. 141 overall. 141 overall it's going to be very soon if he doesn't get a new deal where there's going to be quarterbacks getting $100 more million guaranteed than him. Burrow's already at 219, so Trevor Lawrence will get 220, and then et cetera, et cetera. You keep going down the line. But everyone got caught up in that big number, that 450 number. Crazy. All right, let's see. I'll make a note on that to look up more stuff on that. Hot takes. I'll come off the screen for this. All right, so I want your hottest take. Whether you're watching this live on the replay, your best week 1 overreaction hot take. Mine is going to be this. I have a few, actually. I have a few. The Chicago Bears stink. The Chicago Bears absolutely stink. And I've said on here that I was the child of my youth, but I gave them up years ago. And what I saw this past Sunday was exhibit A of why I'm so happy and my life has so less stress of me getting rid of them. Like, just not having to deal with that and to watch that team just get dismantled by Jordan Love. The Chicago Bears stink. And low key, if they tank enough, they might need to look at quarterback too. If you have a chance of Caleb, May, or even Shador, you might have to look at that. I know they didn't want to trade Justin Fields with the crop of QBs this year, and I'm willing to agree with them. But if you sitting there at number 1 and you got Caleb, yeah, Justin, nice knowing you, bruh. Like, don't try to talk me into no, Harvin Marison Jr. No. You go ahead and take Caleb, and you keep it pushing. You know who else might be pushing for that? DJ Moore. He of all of 2 targets. You know what I'm saying? So, Bears stink. That is a week 1 overreaction hot take. I'm mad that Bari left. Another hot take. The Browns are really good. Like, that defense, like just improving that defensive line, giving Myles Garrett some help. They're really good. And Nasty Man didn't play great. Some say he didn't even play well. I won't go that far. Again, if we're giving Joe Burrow grace for the weather, we got to do the same for Nasty Man. But I think as a squad with Amari Cooper, Nick Chubb, Elijah Moore flashed, Peoples-Jones flashed, Njoku flashed. Like, if they can protect Nasty Man, that squad can go. And I think we broke down their schedule. They're playing that whole division within the first 5 weeks. So we're going to see them against Baltimore, which is now going to be hurt with the loss of, who he lost? Hamilton, and they lost J.K. Dobbins. Steelers, they look to be mid, although they did face the 49ers, so you can't really put too much into that because the 49ers are one of the better teams in the entire league. But in terms of Kenny Pickett, I don't know about that, but, we'll see. But I think the Browns, low-key, could be a sleeper to take that division. As much as we're looking at the Bengals, we're looking at the Ravens. Let's not sleep. They already got the first game against the Bengals. As long as they can split with that division, they'll be in position with the rest of that schedule with the talent that they have to be in the mix. So I got Bears stink, Browns good, week 1 NFL overreaction, and we'll dig a little deeper. I don't think the Chiefs are going to be good this year. And good as in Super Bowl good. Week 1 NFL overreaction. I don't think the Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl. They've worked things out with Chris Jones. That's great. Kelsey's out here allegedly dealing with Taylor Swift. We know her luck. Her luck does not normally rub off on the men that she's rubbing. So yeah, week 1 NFL overreaction. I don't think the Chiefs are going to get to the Super Bowl. Don't like that roster. You know, as much as you want to believe in Mahomes, that's cool. He certainly can be a one-man gang and has been in the past. I just don't think he gets to that this year. I think we get a new squad coming out the AFC. So those are my 3 hot takes. Bears stink. Browns good. Chiefs are not going to get. The Chiefs are not getting out the AFC and getting back to the Super Bowl. What say you in the chat? Scrub Zero, Packers found their next franchise QB. Okay, I like this one. Dolphins are the best team in the AFC. Okay, I like it. I like it. Look, man, if Tua could stay upright, it's a wrap. Like Tyreek Hill, I really haven't seen a wide receiver this unguardable since Moss. Like T.O. never seemed unguardable. Megatron never seemed unguardable. Julio never seemed unguardable. Tyreek Hill is unguardable. And I haven't seen that since Randy Moss. And again, I'm not saying T.O.'s not elite top tier. Like, T.O. is T.O., okay? But different type of receiver. The speed. Randy Moss with the speed. Man, he put that hand up. You knew. It was a wrap. I'm running 9 routes all day. I'm doing go routes all day. I'll put that hand up, it's a wrap. Tyreek just gets off that line of scrimmage. Even if you press, he still has the quickness and the straight line speed to still get by you. He's unguardable right now. And it's against press. It's against man-to-man. It's against zone. It's against bracket. It don't matter. He's unguardable. Scrub Zero, I personally don't think the Chiefs will win the Super Bowl. Yeah, I feel you. Dan Campbell will derail the Lions. Hey, I mean, look, the Lions will always lie until I'm proven wrong. Scrub Zero also helps to have a burn on the side on Waddle. No, facts. And Waddle, I mean, you know, I got Waddle in fantasy, and it's like, as much as Tyreek Hill is cooking, I'm like, yo, can you save some of that shit for Waddle? Can you save some of that? He can also burn dudes too. Like let both of them get damn near 200 receiving yards. Like fantasy, rough week 1. All right, let's see. Let me wrap this up. Yeah, we're good here. All right, thank y'all so much. New episode of the DCND podcast. I've been kind of putting it off, but I think I got what I want to get off on the podcast now. Kind of have to reorganize. This Timeline T thing was just something I was trying, but it's working. So I'm going to continue doing Timeline T, trying to navigate a schedule of when to do it that can fit in. Summertime, I had mad times. I was able to be on here like every day and shit like that, but trying to navigate of how to be able to get on here on a regular basis. And also still do the podcast because I still want to do the podcast as well. So try to navigate that as well. So bear with me there. I appreciate everyone for tuning in early, middle, and late. Always appreciative of everyone tapping in. The channel recently got monetized, all that YouTube partner program shit. So salute to y'all for always being there and pulling up and helping push this thing in the algorithm enough that we got a bunch of people to pull up. Labor Day weekend was wild. We got a big surge of people pulling up Labor Day weekend with a lot of the NFL stream stuff that we were doing here. So thank y'all for always being a part of it. Continue to the next milestone. We're trying to get to that 1K, so we're on the way towards that now. But thank y'all so much. I will be back very soon. You'll probably get a podcast. What's today? Tuesday. I want to say tomorrow, but probably more likely Thursday, you will get a podcast, the Sandy podcast. video form here on YouTube, audio form on all the usual podcast player apps. So tap in either way. Link for that is in the description if you want to tap in. And I will catch y'all very soon again here on Timeline T. So for the Sam D, which is me, Sam May Jr., this has been Timeline T. I'll see y'all soon. Peace.